The International Forum for Promoting Homeopathy is continuously conducting a webinar for the last 1,221 days. And today we got a wonderful guest in Dr. Manish Singh. And as you all know that he is one of the personality who is handling our Hindi session in a beautiful way, along with Sahani sir and Dr. Deepamala. And as you know, we are facing a crisis situation as there some technical problems occurring here and there, but we still go on without any interruption. And that is what is the beauty of this forum. We have a lot of presenters, almost all the professors are attending our session. Even Dr. B.D. Patel sir is also waiting for or participating in the session. That's a great thing that such wonderful personalities are participating every day. And doctors from different parts of the world are also participating. And as you let me introduce Dr. Manish Singh. As you know, he is an assistant professor and he has he is an MD holder. He is a hardworking personality, and he is dedicated his life to homeopathy and is building his career in a very good way. And he is in the direction and to make his own name in this field of homeopathy, and working as a assistant physician in Divine Homeopathy. And as you know, this Divine Clinic is a renewed clinic and is existing for the last 33 years. And he has a lot of experience, and he has done his MD during COVID, and that help him to manage a good number of cases in the OPD, and he has achieved a lot of things in his life. He has conducted different sessions, five sessions, more than 5 sessions in our IFBH platform, and he is a person who has published 15 scholarly articles and have published in well-known magazines and both English and Hindi. His thesis on Kent repertory and Tena corporis, and have completed his internship on the thesis of Tena corporis and MD thesis on Kent repertory with significant sample size, and selected STSH research on dot and breast cancer. His research on breast cancer and its miasm was selected for CCRH STSH program. He has worked as a data collector at KBA survey, and so many things he has done, achieved during his MD MD working time, and he is always doing wonderful practice. And today, Dr. Manish is about to present homeopathic approach to narcissistic personality disorder. As you know, this is one of the complicated personality, and let us see what a doctor has to say about this. You are welcome to this sessions, doctor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you a lot. Sabhi ko mera pranam. Good evening to everyone. And let's start the session. So firstly, I'll share my screen. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So as everyone I think will remember, personality. I have already discussed antisocial personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder on this platform. So today's my topic is narcissistic personality disorder. Firstly, we have to understand what is a personality disorder. So personality disorder are a diverse group of disorders in which the common thing or the commonest pattern is a lifelong pattern of unusual behavior. So in this, the patient will behave unusually, and this will be a lifelong pattern of that unusual behavior. Okay, and this would not be as bizarre as schizophrenia or bipolar, but some unusual behavior which would not be normal, which would not be considered normal in our society. Now, firstly, we understood the personality disorder. Secondly, we'll understand what is narcissism. So narcissistic traits or narcissism is thinking about yourself only. Okay. In each and every scenario or in each and every circumstance, you'll only think about yourself. Okay. So to understand what is narcissism, firstly, let's concentrate on this image. In this image, we can see there is a boy standing on a podium with a crown on his head and a cape on his shoulders. And each and everyone is looking up upon him, and he is standing tall with a chin above and standing on the podium. So narcissism is something like this. This image can depict narcissism perfectly. That each and everyone is looking upon him, and he's thinking that he's a special. He can grab attention. He requires admiration, and everyone looks upon him. Okay, so this is something like narcissism. This guy behaves perfectly like a narcissist. Narcissistic personality disorder is basically a mental condition in which people have inflated sense of their own importance. Their importance sense, the sense of their own importance is inflated. There is a deep need for excessive attention, for admiration, and they always require admiration from someone else. They always require admiration from people around him. And then they always have a troubled relationship because their whole relationship is always about them only. Their relationship is always about self and no one else. So they do not think about anyone else in their whole relation. They only think about themselves. That is why there is a troubled relationship. There is a lack of empathy. And behind all of this mask, there is always a fragile self-esteem, because in the real world, they show a lot of confidence. They are overconfident at with many moments. But behind the mask of this extreme confidence, they have a fragile self-esteem. They have a vulnerability, and this vulnerability can be depicted by anger at slightest criticism. If you criticize them that your looks are not at all perfect, or you do not talk perfectly, and then their fragile self-esteem will come outside, that how can you talk to me like this, or how can you say to me like this? Okay, so narcissistic personality disorder is somewhat between these traits. So to understand more, let's see more images and understand what narcissistic personality disorder would look like and what symptoms lies behind it. So if we will see this image, there are two friends talking with each other. The one in the blue is saying that there is a homeless guy sitting behind them. He's very poor, and I feel bad for him. The guy in green is saying that I have my lunch with me, and let's give it to him. So the blue guy is saying, wow, that's really nice of you. Let's do this. And the green guy is saying that, okay, but you have to record me on your phone. So the blue guy is saying that I don't have my phone. What should I do? And now this green guy gets sad, and he throws his lunch in the dustbin and said, what is the reason of being charitable if I can't show the world how generous I am? Okay. So this is narcissism. He do each and everything for public attention, for seeking attention, or for seeking admiration, that I am generous person. I do each and everything in my life for people, but I just want admiration. Okay, I just seek attention. So in this image, we can see this. Next, there is a smiley with a hand getting knife, and he's saying that तारीफ करते हैं या नस काट लूं, that either you admire me or I'll kill myself. So this image basically depict the symptom that they require admiration at each and every step of their life. Talking to a narcissist person is like a phrase. They'll always use a phrase that get over it, because their life is always self-concerned. They always think about themselves only. Okay. So whatever you talk, that my neighbor died, my cat died, my best friend is ill, and they'll say, get over it. What's so big in it? And even if they get an acne or a pimple, then that is a matter. That is a serious matter which should be discussed. So even trivial matters are concerned if they're of their own life. But if you are if you are talking about something serious which is going on in your life, they'll say get over it, because to them it is very trivial and they're not at all interested in it. So the second symptom is self-concerned and everything is always about. Now in this image, we can see he's a very well-known director, and he's talking that Sanjay Leela Bhansali is an overrated director and some actor is an overrated actor. So the next symptom which we can see is always jealous of others. They are always jealous of people that he's not doing good, or he cannot do good, and I am only the best person. Okay. So the jealousy is very much marked and can be seen very easily. And since they are jealous of other people, they always think that others are jealous of them too. So they always think that others are feeling envious of them or are jealous to them, or their behavior or their fragility or their fame. They always think that other people are jealous of them or are envious of them. They always think about their perspective. They always think that their perspective is correct, and each and everyone around them, their perspective can be wrong, and they are all doomed. And I am the only one whose perspective is perfect, and I'm only one who has been granted as a perfect person on earth. So this image is basically from a very famous Bollywood movie, and in which the actor is a male protagonist, is behaving like a narcissist who is always self-concerned and who's always talking about himself and do not care about what other people or the people in his society thinks about it. We started this discussion with inflated sense of self-importance. So this image depicts a female protagonist saying that I am my favorite. I have always been my favorite. So this symptom is a backbone of narcissist personality disorder, that they have an inflated sense of self-importance. They always think that they are more important, and they have that sense is very much inflated. They always seek other persons with the same status. Now in this image, the guy is talking that can that girl can meet our status or our family. They always seek other persons as per your status. They always talk like this, that that person do not meet my status, so I'll not sit with him, or I'll not talk to him because he do not or she do not match my status. I only talk to those person who matches or who meet my status. So the next symptom which we get is preoccupied with status. They always are in their mind, they're always preoccupied with status, that they have an status, they have a thought process, and they're always preoccupied with that. They're always preoccupied with fame. That fame could be true, that fame could be false, but they're always preoccupied with it. As in this image, we can see that a famous celebrity is talking that most leading men in the industry have a lot of money, but I'm not sure that they have brain. This is a bitchy comment, and this shows that she is preoccupied with her fame and she thinks that no one else can match. They are preoccupied with wealth. Their thought process is that I have wealth, whether they can be Ambani or they can be a roadside beggar, but they are preoccupied with wealth. Their mind is preoccupied with wealth, that they have a fame, they have a stature, they have a status, and they have a wealth. And they'll only talk to people or only concerns those people who matches their status. They're always arrogant and always bitchy about others. As we can see in this image, she's talking that the thing about this industry is, if you are not good looking, then they think you are a good actor. This statement is bitchy. You can't talk about people like this, okay? But she's famous for passing arrogant statements. So this image depicts that narcissistic personality disorder, the people who are suffering from these kinds of syndrome, they're always arrogant. They do not talk politely. They are always arrogant, and they're always bitchy about others. They always have a sense of entitlement. They always feel that they are entitled, and people around them should always behave as if they are entitled. They are prince, they behave as if they are a prince or a king or something like that, and people around them should behave like it. They are A-grade censorious. If we read this image, it is like arguing with a narcissist is like getting arrested. Everything you say and can will be used against you. So they are A-grade censorious. They do not think or understand anything which you want to say or which you want to pass on to them. They only think about themselves and their opinion only. If you want to make a narcissist see about their fault, then this image is perfect. Their eyes are closed and they do not or they cannot see what they have done wrong. Okay. So they can never see their faults. And if you criticize them, then this will happen. Getting angry quickly if they don't get their way. If they can't do things in their own way, then they get angry, they get arrogant, and they talk nonsensically about it. They are very hypersensitive to criticism. They always think, because there is an inflated sense of self or there is inflated self stature, so they always are very hypersensitive to criticism. You can't criticize them and they will not take it healthily. They always lack empathy. Narcissistic personality disorder do not have empathy. They cannot show empathy to people, so they always lack empathy. They are prone to throw tantrums. Since they always behave as if they have some status, so they are prone to throw tantrums. They always throw tantrums on people. And since we are studying these many symptoms, it's always important that these symptoms can be present in people time to time. Okay, but if they are present in a duration or as an unusual pattern for lifelong, then we can diagnose that that person is suffering from some personality disorder. The next symptom is gaslighting. It's very important that if you are talking about something, as we can read in this dog image, you said, I'm gaslighting you. There you go, making up words again. Do you know how crazy you sound? And in this one line, calling someone crazy, you ended up each and every conversation. You ended up each and every opinion. You ended up each and everything. So gaslighting is a very important symptom that people, if you throw some opinions or if you throw light on something, then they always gaslight it by saying that I have never talked something like this. I have never said this to you. What are you talking? Are you false narrating something, or have you gone crazy? So they always gaslight others' existence and they never remember their faults. They always gaslight others' efforts and others' hard work. They never appreciate anyone's hard work and they never appreciate their efforts. They always gaslight it by saying that what you have done was your responsibility and what I have done is a favor I have granted to you. They always want things as per their own way. If we can see this image, there is a female crying saying, you have to say sorry. Then the guy is saying that the mistake was yours. Then the girl started crying more loudly that you have to say sorry. Okay. So they always want things as per their own way. They want attention and they want admiration and they want things as per their own way. They can't see their own fault. They always take advantages of others. Since they have an inflated sense of self and they always want things around them as their own thought process. Okay. So they always try to take advantages of others because they are not empathetic. So they cannot feel what you feel, or they are not sensitive towards your emotion. So they always take advantage, or they always try to take advantages of others. So these are all the symptoms which I try to explain through the help of images. Next, let's go to the causes, that what cause people suffering from narcissistic personality disorder. Firstly, let's get back to the characterization, and in the next slide, we will talk about the causes. This is characterized by the ideas of grandiosity, inflated sense of self-importance. Okay, so they always think, or they have an inflated sense of self-importance, as we have already talked about. They are preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success. They always seek attention. They have dramatic behavior. They always require constant praise, admiration, and they cannot face criticism. They lack empathy and they have an exploitative behavior. But as we have already discussed, they have a shaky self-esteem. If you remove their mask, they have a shaky self-esteem and underlying sense of inferiority, and each and every minor to minor event can make them feel depressed that, oh my god, this thing has happened to me. I got an acne and now I'm not beautiful at all. So a narcissistic personality disorder people who are suffering from these kinds of trait can show depressed symptoms with each and every minor event in their life. Now coming to the causes. If we talk about causes of narcissistic personality disorder, there is not a single event which I can pinpoint that this will only happen with each and every narcissist. But these are some factors which can be included in it, as a childhood trauma, such as physical, sexual, or verbal abuse. And each and every psychologist talk about early relationships, which the guy or the girl have with their parents or friends or relatives. It could be genetics, hypersensitivity to textures, noise, or light in childhood. Personality and temperament can also be a feature, because many psychologists talk about susceptibility or talk about constitution. They do not use the word susceptibility, obviously, but they talk about constitution, that people are made in a certain way and they react to stimulus in a certain way. So that could make them narcissist. Now let's get to the psychological explanation, that how we can explain psychologically a narcissist personality disorder. So whenever we talk about the psychological explanation of narcissistic personality disorder, it always go in two branches. Firstly, we'll discuss the first branch, which is arrested psychological development. In arrested psychological development, it is believed, psychologists believe, that the narcissistic personality disorder, the person who is suffering from it, has some trauma or some disturbance in his childhood or adolescence or teen, and his mind or his psychology is stuck in that phase only. Okay, let me read the line. The roots of arrested psychological development are from past trauma or disturbances in childhood, adolescent, or teens family of origin, specifically to problems in the parent-child relationship in each childhood developmental stage. It is believed by some that narcissistic personality disorder is created before a child turns 3 years old, and this early origin is thought to explain why narcissists are so difficult to treat in later adult life. So this is a psychologist line who says that this behavior comes before 3 years old. So the arrested psychological development is of a 3-year-old child. Okay, so that is why they behave like children emotionally. They behave much like a 3-year kid emotionally, and that is why it is very difficult to treat when they get adult. Getting more towards it, it's always talk about cause and effect of parents' neglect. So there is a famous psychologist, Kohut, and he talks about a normal child that grows up out of arrested psychological development through occasions to be emulated by his parents or her parents and to overemphasize. So he always talks about that it goes between hand in hand. Okay, so when he desires or when he deserves that you should praise him or you should talk to him, and you are not talking to him. Okay, you're not praising him, as if he comes first and you says, okay, what's the big deal in it? You came first, so what? Okay, and in public you are over adulating it. Okay, you are flattering him that, oh my god, I'm your big supporter, you play cricket so well, oh my god. Okay, so when he appears in public, you so much flatterize him and you so much gives attention to him, and when he is in alone, you do not talk to him, you do not play board games with him, or you do not listen to him. So it's always hand in hand going, that you emulate and then you overemphasize. Okay, so the child so according to Kohut, he talks about that they do not get a accurate sense of self, and they set a personal ideals and they set a personal value, and their thought can get arrested, their psychology can get arrested to that phase only. Okay, the next explanation is traumas or a disturbance. So in disturbance, on the other hand, if the parents neglect to provide appropriate opportunities for adulation and emulating, the child remains stuck at a developmental stage. In disturbance, cohort is talking that if he deserves at an opportunity, you should adulate or you should emulate, and you are not doing it. Okay. In the first, you are overdoing it, and in the second, you are not at all doing it. Okay. So the child psychology gets stuck at that very phase. In the third point, it is trauma, that trauma can also have the same result, such as a hit or such as a hit on the head or from a car crash, etc. Now let's come to another psychologist, very famous, Dr. Erik Erikson. Dr. Erik Erikson also talks about unresolved childhood, and he also talks about arrested psychology. He says that he was a very famous psychologist, and he talks about 8 stages of development. Okay, so he says that everyone has these 8 stages in their life, which is infancy, childhood, youth, adolescence, teen, young adults, and elders. So he always says that a childhood developmental task, unresolved childhood developmental task, leaves a long life residue of emotional immaturity. In other words, he also says your original, immature, unidentified subconscious issues are controlling your behaviors and even your thinking. He says that if you have some unresolved issue in your past, unresolved issue with your parents or unresolved issue with your friends or a neglect, so that can make you, that can arrest your psychology at some certain way, and you can behave inappropriately at some certain time. Okay. So this was an explanation by Dr. Erik Erikson. At present time, there is 2 major theory explaining narcissistic personality disorder. One of this theory considers a personality disorder as a form of arrested psychological development, as we talked about in the previous 2 slides. The other one considers that if a young child is suffering from or getting some stimulus from his environment, okay, so it's a defense. He can use this narcissism as a defense against that stimulus, against that psychological pain. As if, let's consider the example of neglect. Someone is not admiring him, or someone is not emulating him, or not flatterizing him, then he'll go to his friends and say that you should admire me because my family do not gives me the attention. Now my friends, I want you to give me the attention. I want you to give me the flattery I require, and I want you to give me the admiration I require. Now next, let's go to the homeopathic medicines and repertorization about it. Now, knowing these symptoms, which I just discussed about, I have used synthesis repertory and took out these 11 symptoms, which as per me could be taken out as rubrics. If if you find that some other rubrics should be more appropriate or should be used, then please suggest them in chat box, or I think we'll take the last 10 minutes for that also. First is mind ailments from, appreciated from, not being. As we talked about, that he or she wants a certain appreciation at all times. So ailments from not being appreciated. Mind boaster. As we know, boisterous attitude, that they always talks about themselves only. So the next rubric is boaster. Delusions, she is not appreciated. Admiration, appreciation, the same thing, that she has a delusion or he has a delusion that he is not appreciated. Next is egotism. If we see, if we search the rubric narcissism in synthesis repertory, the cross reference which we get is egotism. Next, we see envy. Envy is a competitive attitude, is a competitive behavior, which always comes in person if they are more into competitive kind of field. So envy is competitive behavior. Haughty, mind haughty. Mind indifference toward others, because they always talk about themselves. As we all see that they are on a podium, as we remember the kid that he's on a podium and others all below him. So they're always indifferent toward others. They are always indifferent towards the welfare of others. As we see that green child throwing the lunch in the dustbin. So they do not want the welfare of others. They only want the welfare of themselves only. So indifference to the welfare of others. Mind jealousy. as we see directors abusing other director, that they don't have any morality or they do not work greatly. So yeah, jealousy is always there. Self-indulgent, as we talked about, that they have inflated sense of self, so always self-indulgent. And the next is selfishness, because we saw that they always take advantage of others. So these are the 11 rubrics as per me. If there are any other rubrics as per 22 other participants, so please, you are welcome to send me in the chat box. Next, we'll go to the homeopathic medicines about it. The first medicine which always comes in the mind when we talk about narcissism or inflated sense of self is platinum metallicum. As we talk about platinum metallicum, and since I already show you that I took these 11 rubrics into consideration, these medicines came into my repertory chart. The first medicine is platinum metallicum. Mental delusions, as if everything about her were small. All persons who are around her are personally or are physically or mentally inferior, are small, and she's physically large and superior. As we know that there in the rubric delusion of size or delusion as delusion in size, platina is mentioned there. Okay, so and we can see in the symptoms that if there is a door of 9 feet height and a 6 feet platina is coming in, then she'll bend her neck and she'll pass inside. That she should not strike the door. Okay, so platina has always an inflated sense of self, that a large and superiority complex is always there. She's always arrogant, proud, contemptuous, haughty, pitiful looking, down upon people, usually venerated, a king of casting them off unwillingly, irresistible desire to kill, impulse to kill her own child, her husband, on seeing a knife, whom she secretly disliked or could be passionately loving, and nymphomania. So platinum metallicum was the first medicine which came into the repertory sheet when I took consideration of these 11 rubrics. Second, palladium metallicum. Palladium did not completed the whole 11 rubrics. It was on 7th number. Okay. But palladium, the mental rubric of palladium metallicum was much appropriate for narcissistic personality disorder. That is why I took it in consideration. Because palladium metallicum has always fancied neglect. People do not neglect palladium, but he or she has a fancied neglect in his own mind. Wounded pride, fancied neglect, weeping mood, inclined to use violent language, as we always see that, as we all have already seen that narcissistic personality disorder people are arrogant. So they're inclined to use violent language. Affected profoundly by slight offensives, real or imaginary. Love of approbation, seeks the good opinion of other and attaches great importance to them. They always seek good opinion from people about themselves, and they do not want to hear anything bad about them. So as we already seen narcissism, if you say that I look very thin, and I'll attach to that opinion that, oh my God, I got thin and I wanted that already. So yeah, they always get attached to the good opinion about themselves. They always keeps up bright in company and much exhausted afterwards. They feels as if they were going crazy. So this was palladium metallicum. Next is Lycopodium clavatum. As we all know that Lycopodium has a love for power. They always respect their superiors around them, and they always try to dominate the inferiors around them. Okay, so Lycopodium has a narcissistic personality trait in him. They are domineering, they are fault finding, they have a love or craving for power, they have indecision, they have timidity, they have loss of self-confidence. So the second line, indecision, poor self-esteem, or timidity, or loss of self-confidence, is a time when you remove the mask. When you remove the mask of that narcissist person, then you can see it clearly that there is indecisiveness, there is timidity, there is loss of self-confidence, and a poor self-esteem, and a constant fear of breaking. Then we all know that Lycopodium has a weak digestion, has a flatulent abdomen. They always prefer hot drinks and food, and they have a cravings for sweet. Next is Aurum metallicum. This medicine was present in the 11 rubrics which we took into consideration. Since we always talk about a good time in a medicine's life and a bad time in a medicine's life, so I think aurum metallicum matches with the bad phase of a narcissist's life. It considers with the symptoms like acute depression, hopelessness, grief, future looks dark, loss of love of life, disgust of life, and thoughts of suicide. Always we know that aurum metallicum has a suicidal tendency. They talks of committing to suicide, but they fear death. They are peevish and vehement at least contradiction, which matches our symptom of narcissist. They feel that they are more efficient than others. They work hard to secure high position in society. As we already know that this narcissist personality disorder, people are preoccupied with their status, their wealth, their fame. So they have worked hard to secure this high position in society. So Auromet matches that. They are hypersensitive to noise, excitement, and confusion. So these were the 4 medicines which came in the repertory sheet. Okay, 4 well-known medicines. I have also taken 2 rare remedies in consideration. The other remedies which were well-known and were in the repertory sheet were phosphorus, ignatia, calcarea carb, nux vomica, and few other remedies also. The 2 rare remedies which came into my repertory sheet was positronium and marble white. So I have taken few mental rubrics of positronium and marble white, and we'll discuss it here. First comes positronium. When we see positronium, it is daydreaming. A rubric daydreaming is present in positronium. Mind absent-minded with dreamy. Okay. Activity desires activity alternating with lassitude. So as we already see that they desire activity and then they get lassitude also. They are affectionate, ailments from anger, ailments from hurry, ailments from mortification, alcoholism. Alcoholism, oblivion is like drinking to see what. Okay. So now each and every rubric do not matches narcissism obviously, but few rubrics, if we see them, then they matches. As if anger at trifles, anger at superficiality, anger from interruption, anger controlled being, anger causeless, anger alternating with tranquility. If we see these rubrics, anger violent, then you can see that it matches with narcissism as per its definition. Anxiety, activity amelioration, anxiety from anticipation, anxiety causeless. Obviously, anxiety causeless and anxiety from anticipation matches with narcissism. The second slide, same of positronium only. Anxiety about health, anxiety about one's own health. Obviously, a narcissist person only think about themselves. So anxiety about their own health. Anxiety with hurry, anxiety about money matters, aversion to children and aversion to mother. Obviously, 2 rubrics that she or he is not very attached to its family. Awareness heightened of body, and awareness heightened of body feels centered in body. So obviously, positronium thinks that all the awareness, since it is a narcissist medicine, also one of narcissist medicine, so its awareness is heightened of its own body. Mind awkward strikes against thing, aversion to bath, beautiful things yearning for. Obviously, since narcissism is there, they yearn for beautiful things in their own life. There is benevolence, there is blushing, bulimia, carefulness, aversion to being cursed, and obviously there's mind censorious with dearest friends, cheerful, childish behavior, and desire for change. So these were the 2 slides I took for positronium. The next medicine which also came in the last medicine for the day, which also came in my repertory sheet, was marble white. So let's see the 2 slides of marble white. As we already discussed, narcissist person do not want interruption. So anger from interruption, anger when misunderstood, anxiety from interruption, anxiety from anticipation, anxiety from becoming cold, anxiety during coldness, anxiety with fear, and anxiety television aggravation. Then there is awareness heightened of body. So we saw this symptom in positronium also, and here it is also present. Then there is capriciousness, wants to be cared, being cared. So obviously this is a narcissistic symptom that they want to be cared. Then there is charming others, cheerful, communicative, aversion to company. Then there is confusion of mind while talking. There is complaining, deceitful. Obviously, we saw that narcissist person can be deceitful. They can be cruel. So there are rubrics like deceitful, and there is rubric mind cruelty. This last slide for the day. Delusion. She is criticized. Obviously, this matches with her narcissism whole complaint also. Then there is delusion. He is distinguished. Delusion as if drugged. Delusion surrounded by enemies, because obviously he is on a podium, so he is jealous of others around him, so he can think that that all of the other people who are below me are an enemy of me. Okay. Delusion. He is forsaken, obviously, because he's a narcissist, so he can think that people have forsaken me. Delusion. He is a great person, which also matches with our definition of narcissism. Delusion. Honest. She is honest, obviously, because she has an inflated sense of self. She can think, or he can think, that he's very honest and he's very pure and pious, and each and every other person is jealous of. Delusion. Jumping safely. She can jump from a height and land. Delusion. Mutilated body sees. Delusion. Neglected. He or she is neglected. Delusion. Being noble. So obviously 40 and 41 symptom, neglected and noble being, matches with our definition of narcissism. Dependent of others, and dependent of others desire to be. Discontent with everything. Obviously, narcissist person can be discontent with everything. Then there is egotism, envy. So again, egotism and envy matches with narcissism, the rubrics which we have already taken. Then there is fancies absorbed in, fancies observed, fear, happen something will, fear of men, and fear observed of her condition being. Last rubric for the day, fear observed of her condition being. Obviously, a narcissist person do not want that you can observe the real of him or her. Okay. So there is a fear of her condition being observed. So these were the medicines and the rubrics which I took into consideration. And this was all for the day. And obviously, the symptoms which we took into consideration, these should be present throughout the life. So we can diagnose a person that he or she is suffering from narcissistic personality disorder, because these traits are very normal in our life and can be present in any person. Okay. So this was all for the day. Thank you for having me. Now we have 15 minutes left. If there is any question or any query, please go on.
Thank you, Dr. Manish. It's really a very good session indeed. The presentation is one of the best presentation with your with your power, and you really presented it from the very beginning. You explained what it is and how how it develops, and when it reaches the maximum, how it can be converted with our how can be treated with our homeopathic medicine, and what are the rubric to be selected. All in all, it's really a wonderful presentation once again, Dr. Manish.
Thank you very much, sir.
It is just like Kapil Dev playing one-day cricket in the olden times. Just so much of power was there in the presentation. Congrats once again. So our veteran Patel sir is there waiting for you to talk, and I invite Patel sir to begin with the session.
I don't think there is anything to talk, because he has given it very clearly. The remedy, a personality which people rarely try to concentrate on that and try to analyze on such persons. Very nice presentation, very hard work. But we see many other medicines coming closer to this remedy. Otherwise, presentation is excellent. The way he spoke, the way he explained is excellent. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Dr. Manish, how will you connect the temperament with this personality, this kind of narcissistic personality? Whether you feel that it is a choleric people, or choleric with melancholic, or what kind of
Sir, I think if we see it in the way of temperament, then obviously melancholia can match it to a certain level. But I think people with sanguine temperament, they have their behavior is somewhat matches with our definition of narcissism, because sanguine people are an overthinker, are predisposed to overthinking. They are somewhat concerned towards themselves only. So I think the people with a sanguine temperament are more prone to, as per my view, they are more prone to meet the narcissist personality disorder than the other choleric or somewhat else.
Exactly. This a combination of these three together will be the right person, I think, because all these three temperament will be there with the narcissistic people. Uh,
Dr. Manish, don't you think so? Today's generation, young active generation, is more towards this type of attitude.
Yes, sir. I seriously think that is what I said, that narcissist trait can be seen in each and every person in today's life. Each and every
Yes.
person in today's life is somewhat envious of others, is somewhat jealous of other, has an inflated sense of self, and they
Bilkul.
have envy. But that is what I said it 2 times, that this should be present throughout the life. That is, then we can diagnose them of this disorder.
लेकिन दूसरी बात ये है, आजकल की युवा इस ओर बहुत जा रही है, ये हमको लगता है, क्योंकि हम
Yes, sir.
पेशेंट्स देखते हैं तो
जी सर.
बस उनको अपनी ही दुनिया, उसके अतिरिक्त कुछ नहीं है, बाकी क्या हो रहा है कुछ नहीं मालूम, बस मैं और मैं।
जी सर.
ये आप मानते हैं ना? हाँ?
बिल्कुल सर, बिल्कुल मानते हैं.
Yes, sir. Dr. Ram, Professor, you can speak now, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Manish. Very nice, excellent session. Narcissist person, a personality. Its personality is background of suffering from tuberculosis diathesis. And according to Mirage, historic and psychotic. It's very important. So जीलियस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, और ऐसे अध्यात्म में भी हमको कहा गया है, परसुक देखी जर्नी सोच खई दूत का मन कटुलाई। तो यह दूसरे को देखकर जलना, इट इज ट्यूबरकुलोसिस डायथिसिस, और बैकग्राउंड ऑफ ट्यूबरकुलोसिस डायथिसिस एक तरह से शोरा म्याज जो है मेरा ट्यूबरकुलोसिस डायथिसिस से आया। तो शोरिक एंड in background suffering from. Thank you, Majid. Excellent session. पटेल जी को भाई नमस्कार, बहुत अच्छा कहा था। ठीक है, जो धनेश जी को भी नमस्कार। ठीक, ओके।
Thank you, Ram Professor, Dr. Sir. And now it is up to Survey Portugal.
Thank you. Greetings from Turkey. And Dr. Manish, thank you very much. It is a very important topic because narcissist people, most of in today's world, and mainly politicians and the others, poor people, we have a lot of problems for that. And but my question is, one of my patients has some aurum, some lycopodium, some positronum symptoms has, and what can I do? I think that I must treat that with layer treatment. For example, the main symptom is important, and later then, and what the tree remedy is at the same time very, very important. But if you have these patients, if you these people, your patients, what can you do that? Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. I think if I get a patient which matches with aurum metallicum, lycopodium, and positronium at the same time, then I'll reconsider my case. I'll think of those symptoms which are present at present time. Okay. those important symptoms of will and understanding which are present at the present time will be considered more importantly by me. And obviously, if those symptoms are if all of those symptoms are also matched as per rubrics by whole three medicines, then obviously I'll go with the first medicine which comes in my mind as per repertory chart. If repertory, because repertory, if considers all the if we take 12 symptoms in consideration, for example, and all the 12 symptoms are considered by whole three medicines, by lycopodium also, by aurum metallicum also, and by positronium also. Okay, then I'll go with the grades. That what grades are those medicines present in lyco? Are those rubrics present in lyco and positronium and aurum metallicum as per? And also, I'll try to match the constitution first. I'll try to know the constitution of the patient and will match with the whole three medicines. Because obviously, lycopodium is a plant remedy and plants behave in a certain way than a metal, because aurum metallicum is a metal and mineral, and obviously positronium is something else. So I'll try to differentiate it with in the basis of kingdoms. Okay. I think my
Okay.
answer helped you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely. That's a beautiful answer. That's what homeopathy has to do, because you have to take the case again and again and find out what are the prominent symptoms at the time of consultation, and what are the reasons behind the symptoms, and how one can move from there, and then what position, why the patient has reached in such a position. There may be some reasons behind it. If the doctor is able to find the reason, definitely that will be a big game as far as the person is concerned. Definitely he will be a winner. That's what Dr. Manish has shown from the very beginning. He has produced what he has given what is narcissism, and then how can you find the prominent symptoms, and how these symptoms develop into the later part of the personality disorder, and then from where you what are the prominent rubric you get it from that kind of patient, and how can you analyze the case, and then reach the simillimum. That's what the beauty of this presentation. If anybody wanted to speak, you can speak. You can we can have a chat with the Dr. Manish. He is a beautiful presenter, as far as it's one of the powerful presenters in this forum also. Doctor, what's your what kind of patients you are getting day by day? Whether you are concentrating more on chronic diseases, or you are getting treating all acute as well as chronic diseases?
So both acute and chronic, but in these days, Varanasi is basic. I live natively in Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh, and basically these days Varanasi is suffering from something like an epidemic, we can say, because not obviously not a big level epidemic, but there is a symptom going on which behaves like chikungunya, and people are suffering from few days of fever, and they get pain in joints. And I think maximum time the clinic is filled with these kinds of patient only these days. From the last 15 to 20 days, these kind of patient have increased in number. So these kinds of patient are are very easily seen these days. But obviously, yeah, there are many patients which are chronic in nature, and we see them. And I think the best, sorry to interrupt, I think the best is because this clinic which I sit in these days is 33-year-old established. So obviously there are many chronic patients which come into the clinic day by day. So yeah, that is a great experience for me.
Yes, what remedies seem to be the best as far as you observe in these patients? Because Eupytorium, Bryonia, Rustox, arsenic, these are the remedies, and of course Pulsatilla. These are the remedies maybe in competition with one another in this kind of presentations, and what seem to be the best as far as the symptoms according to the climate variation also.
Right now in Varanasi, I think Rustox and Pulsatilla are working fine. I think Rustox is doing good because obviously the weather around me is kind of stormy, and winter also. A bit of rains sometime. So obviously Rustox is doing good, and as per modalities, Rustox and Pulsatile are serving good right now.
What's the nature of the people, whether the people are usually take the common water, just like simply water, or they take warm water or lukewarm water in your, most of the people? What's your observation on that? In your
Sir, I think people usually use normal water, but since they are suffering from fever, then they are advised to use lukewarm water these days, that they can because it can reduce obviously the chance of inflammation these days. So yeah, they're advised, but yeah, they take normal water only.
whether you allow the patients to take bath during fever or these conditions?
If they seriously want to take bath, then with lukewarm water I can allow it, but no, not in usual days. If they are suffering from fever, then I usually say that do not take bath with cold water.
It's
Obviously, I say that you can take bath with the lukewarm water.
exactly, that's what, because in chikungunya, what we noted is that whenever a patient bath during a fever or soon after fever, definitely they may get edema. Most of the people
Hmm.
edema, unless otherwise the person is hot. If the person is
Yeah.
hot, sometimes he may be relieved by washing his body and head. Because we need to discuss all those things also, because
Yes, sir.
that is a very good thing, because we are sitting in a different part of the India and different part
Yes,
of
sir. Yes, sir.
as well as in different part of the world, as the climate is one of the climate is not always the same everywhere. So
Yes, sir.
medicine varies, but the common medicines may be this somewhat same.
Hmm.
And
Yes, sir. The common medicines are always same. So that is the good part of homeopathy. That is the best part of homeopathy. That the common medicines of these kind of symptoms are usually same.
during the pandemic of chikungunya here in Kerala, it was first strike in our district, Alleppey. And what we have done during the time was that when people rushed to our clinic, we just took the case and then give these remedies. And we have seen that wonderful result coming out. At the time, there were 200 casualty, that death with allopathic treatment. Then what we done is that we took the videos of the patients, and then after 3 days, again, we took the videos of some of the patients and edited it, and we went to the press club and shown the first people that homeopathy has a treatment for this chikungunya. And the very next day, the paper published 5-column news that homeopathy has a solution for this chikungunya. And thereafter, there was a heavy rush of people to the homeopathy clinic, and that's how we have managed those conditions. So what you have to do is that just give news to the public that we have a solution with homeopathy. You just go to the press club with your friends and give a press briefing that homeopathy can do manage these cases easily, as just in COVID-19. This is what I would like to say.
Sure,
And now
sir.
it is the time to wind up the session. I invite Dr. Servoy to say a vote of thanks to this session once again. From Turkey, the doctor is always attending our sessions without any break. Yeah, please unmute once. You are mute. Oh, yes.
Sorry. Thank you so much, Dr. Danish and Dr. Manish and all of the IFPH. Really, it is wonderful, good things every day, evening, and we listen a lot of new teachers and a lot of new homeopaths. We met them, and really wonderful things. We're open, good view of our eyes, and thank you so much again and again. And the Turkish homeopathy is very really in the beginning, but we learn and we collect all our knowledge. And I hope later we will do some other collection and connection again. Thank you so much.
Tomorrow we will have a session from Dr. Rohit Sharma, who is a very good presenter. He is always treating patients with veterinary patients from veterinary field, and is a person who uses repertory for that. And that will be also that we are expecting one of the best presentation from tomorrow also. So with that, we come to the end of the day 1222. Dr. Manish, do you want to say anything more?
Just thank you. Thanks a lot for having me on this platform once again, and just thanks. I'm really grateful to that you called me again, and thank you. I'll try to reach again and again as many times as I can. So thank you. Thanks a lot.
Definitely, we want at least one presentation from you every month, because you are such a beautiful person, having a lot of power in your presentation, and this kind of presentations are really the need of the hour, because common people need to understand what is happening with homeopathy nowadays. And so we will have to upload all this thing to the public in the YouTube, and then naturally some people may catch up with it, and definitely they will understand what is happening with homeopathy. With that, we come to the end of the day. It's over to Dr. P. Shaila to moderate the Malayalam session. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, Dr.